Hello friends, Mark Holmes here with Michael Anthony Fitness, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. We're at our day job, doing some custom pieces here. We've got some bookcases outside that I got to start painting. I got to get some paint to match that. And I'm working on building this mantle to match this one that's in a 1830s house. And just finishing off making the legs, and that's all that's left on this one. Hopefully, all you guys are having a wonderful time getting ready for Memorial Weekend. That's right, 3-day weekend. Excuse me for a second. Got to make all these little teeny pieces folded up here. So, our Cowboys will be on the field again today. And it'll be interesting to see the storylines for today. What it really seems like with our Dallas Cowboys, I gotta tell you, it seems like a love fest. You hear how everybody is so happy and how much everybody wanted to be here. You hear Robert Quinn, who said, you know, when the whole thing about trade and everything was coming about, and he went to New Orleans and he went here. You're waiting for an autograph from me? Man, I got chicken scratch. Really? You want an autograph from? Okay.
Like military plans with the special
Robert Quinn immediately said after meeting Rod Marnelli that he felt like he was at home. And you hear him saying how he wants to be a really, really good player for our Cowboys. And you gotta love hearing that kind of talk. So, Dak seems to love Kellen Moore and what he's bringing. Along with John Kitna. Oh, Landon Collins, another overpriced Washington Redskin.
Let's jump right into it. I know you got a meeting.
I'm happy that we don't have to go
as a productive player.
That a lot of these teams have.
I wanted to stay a Giant and be a Giant since I was drafted. Those guys that finished their years out over there, but.
So what you looking at, guys?
All right, now we don't like to have players talk about other players, but it's different in this situation. You know,
it's actually the legs for these
They
columns.
also let go of Odell shortly after they didn't sign you back. Why do you think that happened, and were you surprised?
What's going to happen with these are,
got him and say
these are going to go up underneath of this.
He said he wasn't going to trade the man. And
so that way, boom, that's the legs. That'll be kind of decorative. And all you got to do is get the... All this was just some flat lumber when I started out with, but I've actually made all of the molding pieces in here. This is actually like a raised panel for that little detail, square piece on top, and then I'll cut this molding right here. We'll go up there, give it a nice little detail, a little depth and stuff on it, and kind of match as close as possible.
Honestly,
Mark's thought on lawn suggesting that Jay Ajayi should be picked up. Well, I'll be honest with you, Jay Ajayi was the guy I wanted the Cowboys to draft after we let go of DeMarco Murray. But he's had, yeah, that's the only problem is he's got bone on bone like I do as far as his knee goes. The bottom line would be, how much money is it? You know, I was a Boy Scout, and in Boy Scouts they always teach you to be prepared. And as much as I don't think that the NFL is going to do anything to Zeke, you just never know. Now, this is another one of those things. Whenever I say anything about Dak Prescott, automatically people get in arms. You know, you're just a Dak defender. You know, you're an idiot. Well, I'm an idiot, which is true. But when you state things that are true, then they tell you that, oh, you're just making things up. Okay, as bad as it was for us not to have Zeke Elliott playing in 2017, he wasn't the only problem that our team had. Understand, problem one, when we had Sean Lee playing healthy in 2017, we were only giving up 83 yards in the field, on the ground. When Lee went out, we were giving up about 183. When Tyron Smith went out, we gave up 9 sacks to Atlanta. Dak Prescott got his hand hurt. And when Zeke Elliott, go look at the numbers. Go look at the numbers. When Zeke Elliott was suspended, we got away from the run completely. On those games, 3 of those games that we played and lost, I think we only ran the ball, 15 times, 11 times, and I want to say 17 times. But here's what's interesting. Alfred Morris actually had a better yardage per average than Zeke Elliott was. But the problem was is we just got away from the run. We didn't use the run as much. Now here's the thing. We know Zeke Elliott is important to the Dallas Cowboys. I want Zeke out there. But Dak is actually 4-3 without him. Not earth-shattering, but not 0-16. And that was without Sean Lee and without Tyron Smith. Now you got those guys back, and believe me, I'm not saying that, oh, we're fine without Zeke. I'm not saying that. If it's a couple of games, if it ends up being a game or two,
that's all I'm saying.
then I think we're okay. I wouldn't want it to be more than a game or two. I don't think the NFL is going to suspend them, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, I don't think that they will for what transpired. You think they will?
Yeah, look at that language, it's vague.
It's vague, but see, when they wrote that, they were also doing a lot more with other players. And right now,
that's the only question mark.
Okay, all right, now let's think about this. Tariq Hill, who they have tapes about him talking to his girlfriend about whipping his son's ass, who had a broken arm, a child with a broken arm, and him talking about how he needs to learn respect. What did the NFL say about that situation? The NFL said they will not get involved in the legal aspect of that with the law enforcement. So if we're talking about child abuse, which is what we are, we're talking about a child with a broken arm. If they're not going to get involved in that situation, then how are you getting involved with a security guy who clearly said something to Zeke as he was walking away? Cowboys suck, you'll never get a ring, something like that, or even worse. And all Zeke did was turn around and say, you got something to say to me? You know, put him on blast and, you know, let him look like a punk, like he was, you know. It's easy to go ahead and say something as somebody's walking away, but when you have to go ahead and get on Front Street, I didn't say nothing. I was just kidding, man. We just having fun. And I'm not saying Zeke was right, because he wasn't. Zeke got to understand, everybody's out to get his ass.
I don't even like you. You do.
I bet that guy was an Eagle fan. what's everybody got planned for Memorial Weekend?
Start your summer off right. Go Chevrolet. Oh.
I got some work to do here.
An exciting summer.
Get this stuff painted and ready to install.
Chevy Memorial Day sales. Get 0% financing for Sunday 2 months.
Went to see my man Don yesterday.
Owners can get
And
27.
he was proposal for doing some work for him at his house.
Game-breaking plays.
And of course, I got to do the honeydew
Non-stop score.
stuff. My wife wants me to redo the siding on the house.
Relive some of the craziest back-and-forth games in NFL history.
So there's that.
Monday Mayhem. Monday at 8, only on NFL Network.
Ah, we're talking Cowboys now. Alright, so how's that look, guys? Bam! Fill in the nail holes there, sand it, paint this sucker, and it's gonna look pretty good on this thing. I gotta put the football on this one. This is where, see, Michael's gone through and filled in all the holes and stuff in here. So we're ready to paint that. We'll put caulking in here so that I can expand it to cracks. Just put the base molding on it.
It's cathartic and some of it's probably pretty accurate.
Woo, talking about the New York teams working our way all the way out.
New
west to
York
Kyle
teams.
Redfield. Nick Wilson
Talk
and
about a
myself
joke.
No, that's all right.
Yesterday, day 2 of Cowboys OTAs. 3 of the team's superstars are still awaiting contract extensions. I'm talking Dak, Zeke, and Amari
Yeah,
Cooper.
but unlike
Who's
other
fixed
teams,
to get
they're not
ready?
holding out and acting like assholes.
Thanks, Kay. Well, the Cowboys have expressed contract. The one that appears more imminent is
Dak's contract. My quarterback will get paid. Good morning, football fans. Donnell, thank you. Hey, Mike. Donnell thinks that you and I are the best YouTubers out there. Michael's like, yeah, I
I'm
wouldn't quite
talking
say
about myself. I want to say I'm the best.
that. Wait, we're working on it.
I'm just like
Talk,
that.
okay.
I'm just like Dak Prescott. I still got some work to do.
Oh, we always have work to do. You know, you learn until the day you die. Everybody can always get better.
I don't know what Amari's got going on. I just hope he catches the balls up there. I ain't worried about that.
Amari Cooper told me he's also letting his agent handle the intricacies of the contract.
I would love to hear what that number was. Here's where you know that it must not be really, really bad. Because let's say hypothetically that Dak's agents came through and said, we want $40 million a year.
Ezekiel Elliott, no.
You know the Cowboys would have started negotiating this out in public, right? They would have gone through that. That his agent is out of bounds and they're crazy. We thought we had a deal. Well, no, I'm just saying hypothetically. Because that's what they did with DeMarcus Lawrence's agent. And they threw DeMarcus Lawrence under the bus.
But he also put himself in the media too. I'm not getting my shoulder work on him and the agent both.
We're going to be doing with him. And we can't be
Yeah.
judging.
True. But I'm telling you that.
DeMarcus Lawrence put himself out in
Not
public.
that done.
Dak Prescott letting
But
this
I'm going by past experience with the Cowboys.
Dak Prescott was smart thing, not saying
Think
nothing.
about
He ain't saying nothing.
Think about when Dez Bryant was getting his contract, how he got thrown under the bus. They went through every aspect of his life to lowball. Brian's house 6 times. There might be a video out there 10 times worse than Ray Rice. But you haven't heard any of that about Dak Prescott.
Offseason, Dak and Amari Cooper.
Voila. The columns are both made. Now check this out. Let me show you what we actually had to do here. Okay, so this is a piece of crown molding. This is actually a box. We actually took 6-inch wide pieces, laminated those together, thin them out so you can't see the joint in here. We'll paint that out. We actually had to make this giant frame here, and this is a bead molding. This is like a little bead molding that we had to make here to match the original. And then these will go here like that. And then we got this big ass this is actually the top of the mantle. Bam! And that's what we got.
He could be the best running back in football, which is an absolute crazy time.
A replica.
A
replica of what was put into a house in 1830. So, kind of proud of that. We've got to get the color and paint it, semi-gloss paint and things, and then we'll rip out the one that's termite eaten and put this one on.
Because you show up on Saturday and the restaurant is fancy and they got music in the background.
Yeah, we're actually going to need to laminate a piece on the back of this one to extend that man line just a little bit more. We'll use the other piece over there because of the recess on that pipe. Make sure we got plenty of it overhead. But that's a big ass mantelpiece.
Sometimes you
I like that. You see Michael Anthony over there hard at work, filling the holes and sanding it all out. Me, on the other hand, I do most of my talking and just kind of hanging.
Like all these, it's not just Dak, Amari, and Zeke. Jalen Smith's contract, he might be their best linebacker. Byron Jones' contract is coming up. Jason Witten's on a 1 year.
You guys notice something
His deal is it's limited. This is the year, and they didn't go
that I always find interesting is
Steve Sarkisian, our guy we've known for 100 years.
you hear this narrative that everything that the Dallas Cowboys do is the wrong thing to do. Oh, the Detroit Lions. Well, you know, they paid Matthew Stafford, and, you know, they had to let go Nate Burleson, and, you know, they lost Megatron. Well, Megatron just retired. He already had his deal. Megatron was one of the highest paid in the history of the NFL. So it wasn't like because they signed Matthew Stafford, they had to get rid of Megatron. Megatron just pulled a Barry Sanders, said enough with this losing organization. So before they paid Matthew Stafford, it wasn't like the Detroit Lions were headed for the Super Bowl. So they're using that team as an example. Of course, they're using Aaron Rodgers. Oh, well, look what happened to Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. You know, he got the big contract. Now they're not winning Super Bowls. Well, let's stop right here for a second. Let's stop right here. The Green Bay Packers have basically had a Hall of Fame quarterback for like the last 24 years between Brett Favre and then him. They weren't winning Super Bowls anymore even before they gave him the big contract. So it wasn't like you can say that the reason that they're not winning is because now they're paying Aaron Rodgers because they weren't winning before they paid Aaron Rodgers. You can look at the same thing with the Minnesota Vikings and say they've never won a Super Bowl before they paid Kirk Cousins. You can look at the Washington Redskins. They've gone through every quarterback in the world. Still weren't winning the Super Bowl. They tried to draft one. What happened? RG3. 3 number ones in a second. So this whole thing that, oh, you can't do that. Stop. A comment that I saw this morning, which was really interesting to me.
We don't know if someone is going to follow. If someone does follow and does,
They said
is a game changer.
it's a shame that the Dallas Cowboys didn't use Dak Prescott's time of being a cheap quarterback to go ahead and get the team together.
If I'm Zeke, what did he just do?
Hold on.
I just saw a whole
You gotta
show
understand
about why you should pay him
what
$3
happened with Dak
million
Prescott,
worth of
him
guaranteed
not being
to
paid the
change
way he
this
was.
team.
It enabled you to get out from
Ezekiel
underneath
Elliott
the.
makes up 50% of the offense, and this offense was sputtering when he was not there. And Dak Prescott, who's the
Sputtered against the
quarterback
Giants?
of the Dallas Cowboys, making use of the playoffs for 3 to 4 years. We've outlined over and over again why these 3 guys should get paid and not take hometown discounts. So how does this go?
It's a salary cap, right? So that's the hard part.
Well,
to have more team-friendly
but at some
league. There's a
point,
difference.
you might have to take a discount. You might have to take less for the other guy.
More
to do what he
team-friendly
deserves.
means that you take a
Someone
little
is
less, so
going
you
to be
don't
the
take a home field
sacrificial
discount.
lamb, and it might be a Jalen Smith. It might be a Byron Jones. But knowing the way they paid DeMarcus Lawrence, I think they know deep down that the defense has to be good too. I cannot tell you who they're going to not pay. But at some
Here's the
point,
thing.
someone's going to have to take a cut. Someone's going to have to take the franchise tag, whether they want to or not. Or
I'm just listening to
is going to have to take a stand.
NFL.
That's what things.
We're contractually obligated when we talk about Zeke to bring up the name C.J. Anderson because Amari changed the Cowboys' offense. Maybe Le'Veon changed the industry, but we saw C.J. Anderson take the reins down the stretch on his shoulders, by the way, through the Cowboys and dirt cheap money. And if I'm like Dallas guys, there must be somebody that we can get to come in here and move the chains.
Okay.
I hope there is. Zeke is special.
Let's stop listening to these guys right here.
Great time to be playing it.
So
Here's
you're
the thing.
saying the running back maybe should get paid.
The
a little
Cowboys
bit
are in a
less.
better position than just about anybody to do
It has to
this.
be Dak first, and then
Because here's the thing. With Dak Prescott in this first year, this is what's key. Right now, we have $13.9 million on the cap
We are here
for
the ride on Good
Amari
Morning
Cooper.
Calling all day long on NFL Network.
If we go ahead and get his deal done, we'll save about $5 or $6 million on the cap this year. Okay? 5 or 6, depending on how they structure it. Because again, the signing bonus, the guaranteed money is prorated over the life of the contract. That'll give us more cap relief dealing with Dak Prescott's contract. Any money that we don't spend this year rolls over to next year. Next year, the cap will go up as usual, probably another $10 million, which gives you more cap space. There are some guys, because see, they're looking at the contracts right now of the guys that are on there. The Dallas Cowboys are going to get some more money from some other players that are on the team. Between Alan Hearns, between Lyle Collins, between Tyrone Crawford. Those guys, oh my God. Okay, I'll be back, guys. I got, this is a person I definitely want to get on the show. I'll be right back. Some more. I lost
What do you mean 10 times more?
10 times more views.
Of course it is.
My workshop family. Okay, so there's 4 people still watching. Hey, you guys still there? Still there? I'm sorry. I had to take that call. It was a good friend out there, former NFL player, and getting some insight from him and some stuff. Actually, might be doing some work and stuff with him as well. He's doing some really big things and stuff out there. And maybe be able to get a little bit of insight from him as well. You know, it's always one of those good things that you try and network, you try and get to know people and things like that. Because you know what? One thing I've learned in my life is everybody, and I mean everybody in the world, can teach you something. As long as you are open-minded and receptive to actually learning stuff. So, I was asking him, because here's the thing now, I don't know if I need this to be my cause, because I'm not a guy who really smokes weed and stuff much, but I'm thinking about hypocrisy of the one test a year. If you're only testing once a year and think that that's going to stop the weed usage, it's not. And from what I'm hearing from other players, fast players, what we're hearing from Chris Long is there's a lot of weed smoking going on. And as you start to hear about some of the brain functions that it helps with, it seems kind of counterproductive to take Randy Gregory and make him the example of, oh, The NFL is clean except for this guy. Really? Are we honestly going to say that he is the only guy in the NFL that can't stay off the weed? Is that what we're really going to say? Or are we just going to say that he's the only one who was dumb enough to get caught at the combine? And because here's where it's funny. Here's where it's funny. You get tested between April 20th and August 8th. Every NFL player, every single one, if you're in the NFL, sometime between April 20th and August 8th, you will be tested for weed once. You pass, you're good till the next year. Any of you guys know, if you smoke weed, you stop smoking for about a month and drink plenty of water, it's out your system. So as Chris Long put it, he said, listen, so what you do is, at the end of the season, you kind of stop smoking for a month or two before April. You take painkillers or sleeping pills or something else to get you through. Maybe you're drinking more alcohol or you're taking prescription medication and you're good. You get that, you smoke a little weed. There's players out there that admit that they smoke their whole careers. And when you start thinking about what these guys are doing to their bodies playing football, is weed really damaging them? Are we really thinking that when you see somebody like Alex Smith get their spiral fracture or Alan Hearns gets his leg broken, that smoking weed is more dangerous than playing football? It's a crazy situation. So I wish I had the answers, but I look at this right now and say, after Chris Long admitting that, how can the NFL honestly say, well, Randy Gregory, no, you can't play? How can you honestly go through and say that objectively? I just don't see how it works. Sorry I had to get interrupted on the phone call there, guys, but I had to take that call because it was a good call. There was something else I had to tell you guys about, but I can't. Well, I'll be honest with you. I thought that for sure that the Cowboys would end up doing Amari Cooper's first, because with Amari Cooper, Dak's contract's going to cost you more against the cap than the $2 million he's paid right now, obviously. Amari Cooper's deal, though, that 13.9, you reduce this year's hit, so you actually end up generating more capital. And that's the thing that people don't seem to take into consideration and realize, that you'll get $4 or $5, $6 million of cap relief this year. Wentz is going to get 30 plus. Wentz's people are keeping an eye out for what Dak's is, because they're going to say, well, Dak Prescott, that should be the basement of that's where we should start with our negotiations. Although I look at it and say, Dak Prescott can take a hit and keep on going. Dak Prescott can play through adversity. Dak Prescott definitely can take people throwing him under the bus without losing it. You hear kind of little things about Carson Wentz, where he's a bit of a diva in the locker room. And then there's that whole injury history thing he's got. So that to me kind of says maybe we ought to think real hard about this. I could be wrong, because here's the reality. Every player is one player away, but when you had the propensity to be hurt on a regular basis, you got to be worried a little bit. Just saying. Well, I got to go out here and pick up some materials and get some paint mixed up so we can start painting this stuff up in here. But I got to tell you, I'm liking the way this is all looking. Something else I needed to get. Something else I needed. I can't remember what it was that I needed. It sucks getting old because I can't remember anything. Well, I would really like to know what Dak Prescott's offer was. I would love to know what that is. But you know what? Somebody said something to me yesterday that I believe would be true. That Dak Prescott would work for free if it meant getting a Super Bowl.
Instantly started to swirl about where he'd land. When Odell Beckham Jr. landed in the news, he tweeted one word: Cleveland. When Miles Garrett feels differently about the situation.
Thoughts?
They need McCoy saying, "Well, I think we're good with what."
No, they better not pay him as much as Russell. Well, you know, the whole argument of if the Cowboys pay Dak, even though Dak probably won't be as high as Russell Wilson or Big Ben or Aaron Rodgers or Matty Ice or Philip Rivers when he gets his, they don't say that those guys are screwing up their team, though, do they? I look at Seattle. Seattle got a lot of holes to fill. I look at the Eagles. The Eagles have a lot of players that are olding that are going to be aging out that have big contracts. And they don't have near the money cap space that we're going to have next year. So as you start looking at that and saying, yeah, does that really only apply to the Cowboys as opposed to everybody? Because in the end, if the going rate is $30 million for everybody, it's not a disadvantage if everybody has the same issue. I mean, the Washington Redskins got $30 million right now in quarterback compensation. $30 million. Look at their quarterback situation. Look at ours.
Chit-chatting, and Hanks was asking Andrew Luck if he was on social media after games, and Andrew Luck said that he's too old for social media.
Andrew Luck says he's too old for social media. Are you kidding me?
For social media.
He's talking about Wentz.
Andrew Luck's a 50-year-old trap.
They better not pay her more than Russell. Damn, that's cold. Oh. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and run. Thank everybody who came in. Part of us working in the shop. Like I said, I got to go get some more materials and things. And we'll be back later on. Quit dropping to your knee for Dak.
He's a four-time Pro Bowler. He racked up 7 forced fumbles, 13.5 sacks in his 5-year career. Let's give a
What?
good morning football to the heart and soul of
Really, dude? Really? That's the best comment you could come in here? Gonna come in, have a take, and don't suck. Thank you, AC Pie, for the super chat. I appreciate that. What's up? Just was working in the workshop here, guys, and just talking about my Cowboys. Really, there's no news other than what's already been going on. We were talking about weed a little bit and figuring out ways to grow and incorporate some bigger things as well from a good friend that I have and stuff that hopefully we'll start doing some work with. But I got some other things I got to go run and do. If there's any news on the Dallas Cowboys, you know I'll be bringing it to you. I'm Mark Holmes. Oh, take a look at that. Look at that. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Here in the workshop. I'll see you guys.